Hello, my name is Robert Kraut. I'm a student at Kaiser University, located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Today's date is November 4th, 2017, and I'm currently in speech class, Mrs. Williams' class, and our assignment for this week is to give an informative speech. The topic I chose is invasive bug species found in Pennsylvania and other parts of the United States. The purpose of this speech is to inform my audience that the invasive bug species population is becoming a huge issue, not just in this part, but all over the country. And I'm going to talk about a couple bugs found in this area and what we can do to prevent that. Short story, I had a house in this area a couple years ago. It was a warm summer night, and I decided to open the windows. Went to bed, woke up the next morning, was running late, and forgot to shut the windows. I came home and there were stink bugs all over my house. Now, stink bug, it's a little bit bigger, or a little bit smaller than the size of a dime. And this thing, when it flies, it sounds like an Apache helicopter. This thing is terrifying. It's like a flying saucer. It's so loud. It's got 6 legs, and in between the second and third set of legs, they have an internal gland. And when it's provoked or it's agitated, it releases odor, and hence the name stink bug. It does not smell very good at all. So I came home. They were covered all over my house. I thought, it's pretty common for that to happen. However, I remembered I left the window open, and when I went inside, they were everywhere. It was a scene out of a horror movie. They were on the walls, on my couch. They were in my cupboards, on my dishes. I went upstairs. They were in all my clothes, in the pockets of my shirts. They were on the remote. They were on the oscillating fan. They were everywhere. I was completely overwhelmed. So I decided to start scooping them up with my hand. That wasn't working. I went to the next level, got my shop vac. I started sucking them up with the shop vac, and that was a bad call because it started agitating them, and they released that odor. And the odor got so bad after a couple hours that it actually made me sick. So with this speech, I'd like to inform you about the bugs that I'm going to talk about and what we can do to prevent that issue from happening. I don't want that to happen to anybody else. So I have plenty of experience in this field. I work outside all the time. I have my tree climbing certifications. I have my pesticide license to spray. And with that, you learn about subtopics too, and one of those topics are about invasive species, whether it's plants, bugs, and I just think that the bug issue is something that we should talk about, or I'd like to deliver to you and give you more information. Let's see. The definition of an invasive species, according to Webster's Dictionary, is a plant, fungus, insect, or animal that is not native to the area and has a tendency to spread to a degree believed to cause damage to the environment. Now, what not native means, I believe I read that it means it was here before the beginning of the New World, which was around the end of the 15th century. Anything that was introduced after that is considered an invasive species. And this can, like I mentioned before, this can mean several things. Invasive plants, invasive animals, and invasive bugs. The two main bug species I like to talk about today that are found in this region are the lantern bug and the stink bug. Now, the lantern bug was just introduced a couple years ago, and what it does is it's attracted to fruit trees and fruit plants. And what it does is it destroys the plants, it pierces the skin of the plant, and it starts to suck out all the nutrients for the plant, and it absorbs that. However, the plant is not getting the proper vitamins and nutrients, and they wind up dying. The same with the stink bug. Stink bug not just attacks the fruit trees and fruit plants, but also vegetables too. And this is becoming a huge issue as far as crops go. We were overwhelmed about 5 or 6 years ago with this stink bug problem, and it was destroying a lot of our crops, all the way from our home gardens all the way up to an industrial size level. And later on, I'll talk about how we can prevent that. The interesting thing I read about too is both of these bugs were introduced from import-exports. The stink bug is native to China, and it was introduced to Allentown, Pennsylvania in 1998, I believe. The stink bug came around a little bit later. It's also native to Asia, and it was introduced in this area around 2008, 2009. And like I said, what they do is they attack the plants. They extract the vitamins and nutrients from the plant, and it allows the vitamin deficiency for the plant, and they wind up dying. So this is a big problem. So what I'd like to talk about next is how we can prevent that. At a smaller level, I'm sure we all have flowers and gardens at our own home. What we can do to prevent that at a smaller scale, is to monitor your gardens and your vegetables a little bit more. Now, it's going to take a little bit extra time, but it will yield a better crop, a healthier plant. And what we can do now, these two bugs I'm talking about specifically, they're harmless. They don't bite, they don't sting. The stink bug does have that gland. It releases a foul odor, but it's temporary, and unless you're sworn like I was, it won't cause an issue. So what you can do is, if you see one on your plant or your vegetables, you can just scoop them up with your hand, and you can either flush them down the toilet, or in a more graphic kind of way, you can step on them. Now, they're actually recommended that you kill them. One, because they're invasive, they're not that good for the environment, and two, if you just catch them and release them back into the wild, they're just going to find their way back to your gardens. So I recommend, it's not the most non-graphic way to take care of it, but it's a solution, and it's effective. At a more on a larger scale, on a more industrial size scale, the EPA has allowed farmers to spray this non-toxic pesticide on the crops to prevent the invasive bugs from damaging the plants and the vegetables. They've ran thousands of tests on these pesticides. They are non-harmful to the environment, to humans, and over the years they have showed a better yield of plants and crops. So it's effective, and it's if we don't take care of it in a certain way, then it's going to be a huge problem. And I feel that if we don't take care of this problem, it's just going to invite other issues to come on later on down the road. So what we need to do is take certain measures. I don't really like the pesticide idea, but if it's non-toxic and tests have shown that it's been safe, then I think we should go through with it, at least so we can get this issue taken care of, or at least on an even level. So with that said, in conclusion, an invasive definition is something that's not native to the area. It could be several different things: the plants, animals, bugs, insects, fungus, and there's certain measures that we can take. Check your stuff more thoroughly. Like I said, on a larger scale, they're allowing farmers to use safe pesticides, to control that, and evidence has shown throughout the years that it's been effective. Like I said, take caution in gardening. Be more aware of what you're planting and the area that you're gardening. If you see them, they're harmful, they're harmless. Just scoop them up with your hand and flush them, or take care of it accordingly. And if you see them, I hope you don't run into that problem. If you run out, you see an invasive species of bugs, make sure all your windows are shut, because I would hate for that to happen to you. Thank you for your time. This has been a fun assignment, and I hope it was informative to you. Take care and have a great day.